I'm not going to PT Vegas. Not because I didn't qualify. Well, I didn't qualify. But I'm trying to save money for Worlds and for Paris. If you've been online lately, you've probably seen a few posts mimicking these kind of, I'm not going to PT Vegas, or I am going to PT Vegas and here's why. I wanted to kind of poke fun at them. I think that it's been a funny little trend that has started. But I think the conversations behind these posts are very important. I think that being in a community where you can share your feelings on a game, especially those negative feelings that you have from time to time, and be able to have conversations with people and not be shut down immediately, and to be listened to by the game company is really awesome and really important. I just wanted to give my opinion today on how I've been feeling about Flesh and Blood. For those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm the Third Rin. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but I've been playing TCGs and competitive games for my whole life. I started out with Yu-Gi-Oh! All the way back in high school, and then recently, before I got into Flesh and Blood, I was playing competitive Modern Magic, but I've also played, League of Legends and MMOs, so competitive games have been a big part of my life for my whole life. I also did sports competitively. I was a fencer. All that to say that when I compare Flesh and Blood to different card games or to other experiences, I'm comparing it to something that I do know and that I did experience. I'm not making up some imaginary perfect card game or anything like that. And that's why I do feel so optimistic and have so much love for Flesh and Blood. One of my strongest memories from Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually happened years ago, back in high school. My boyfriend at the time decided he was going to take the game much more seriously and step up from casual to competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Which meant that we had to buy a few competitive essentials, which were about $300, which for us back in high school was a lot of money, so we had to save up for a while. Finally, the day came where we had enough money and we made the trek all the way across town. The LGS that had the cards was way across town. So not only was it a big financial investment, it was a big time sink as well to be able to go out there. So we go out there and pick out the cards. And I kid you not, the very next day, Konami banned the cards and they dropped from, $100 cards down to cents, which happens in card games. It's a natural thing to happen. But at the time, it felt like the rug had been pulled out from under us, and it just left a really icky feeling in my stomach. Probably really important that happened early and I have that memory to keep me kind of grounded playing TCGs, but I'm not saying that bans are bad. I think that bans are great and keep games healthy, but the way that I felt just, at the time, it wasn't a good feeling. Magic wasn't that different playing Modern. There were times where archetypes would disappear completely or become completely unplayable depending on the meta. I think a lot of people point to Modern Horizons completely reshaping the way that Modern looks and the way that Modern plays. I wasn't playing One Piece at the same level that I've played other games. I actually played the game quite casually just to hang out with my friends and because I love the anime, and the mangas are honestly really beautiful cards. But one thing that slowly over time drove me away from One Piece was the increasing prices and scalping. It became increasingly harder to get product and increasingly more expensive to just buy cards to build decks if you wanted to play, not even thinking about the collection part of it. But also, there was power creep in One Piece where every set, the new leaders would be extremely powerful, which is fun and exciting, but it meant that you really had to play new leaders each set. Drop your leader and pick up the new powerful leader if you wanted to be competitive and at the top tables. And that just really got tiring for me over time. So slowly and surely, I moved away from One Piece and found other ways to hang out and have fun with my friends. Coming into Flesh and Blood, that wasn't my experience at all. Yeah, heroes rise and heroes fall. Sometimes heroes LL. Poor Prism, just LL'd by Prism. But you have your equipment, you have generics that are always going to be relevant and can go in many decks. So I just feel really confident with the value of my cards. I've seen people complain that the meta has felt stale or that the sets haven't been very impactful, which I understand. But for me, a new player, it's been really exciting because I've been able to play whatever I want without feeling like I'm not competitive because I'm not playing XYZ certain deck. So I have really appreciated that. I've come from games where that isn't the case, where a new set comes out, the meta shifts, and you play that or you get left behind. So I've been having a lot of fun in this free meta where it feels like anything is possible. We've seen heroes go from 1% of the meta share to, 20% of a meta share at a competition. One thing that made me the happiest recently has been seeing all the new players come into armories each week, and they're not playing tier 1 decks. They're playing Boltyn, they're playing Riptide, they're playing what they want to play because they're looking at the results from these callings and they're seeing that you can get into top 16 with almost anything if you have enough experience. There isn't if you play this deck, you're winning. It's the most winningest deck, for example. It's been really fun seeing them, and it's reminding me why I started playing. I didn't pick my first deck, although she ended up being really good, but I didn't pick Verdance because I thought she was powerful, because I thought she was cool. So why am I so hopeful and excited? It's because I see these new players coming to armories each week. I see my local game store giving more space to Flesh and Blood because the community is growing and showing up. I see people and myself traveling across the world, across countries to play in these events, even if it's just to play in side events. I see so many content creators creating content for the game purely out of love for the game. I see people brewing decks and dedicating time to heroes that they don't expect to do well, and then they do well. I feel like there's so much left to discover, with heroes like Vincent, with heroes that have all these lines and all these potential. Players keep finding new lines, new interactions, and new approaches to matchups that we thought were solved months ago. The depth that you can have with a hero in Flesh and Blood is incredibly rare, which is why I do understand the feeling of loss that you can have when a hero LLs, but also there's a kind of excitement when you can find a new hero to invest your time in, especially one that is far away from LLing. Rest in peace, Prism. I also have confidence in LSS, and it just gives me confidence that this game is going to continue to grow and improve and change. Personally, reflecting back on all the different TCGs that I've played, I keep coming to the same conclusion. I don't love Flesh and Blood because it's a perfect game. I love it because every time I've played a game since playing Flesh and Blood, I compare it in my head to Flesh and Blood and always wish that it was more like Flesh and Blood. It's a game that rewards mastery, it's a game that rewards dedication, and it rewards creativity. But most importantly, I've said it once and I'll say it again, this game has fostered and created a community that has changed my life, and a community that I'm so proud to be a part of and that I want to keep being a part of. So no, I'm not telling you you're wrong if you have these feelings. If you're frustrated, I get it. If you're worried about the future of the game and how the meta has been looking lately, I understand. But I hope that this can give you a little bit of joy, or maybe even just a little bit of perspective into why I feel so confident and so excited about the game as a new player and where I come from. Let me know down in the comments, what's one thing you think that Flesh and Blood has done right and one thing you wish would change in the next year or so. Let me know down below. And thank you for watching. I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Hi, I'm the Threaded Rin. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.